Good morning, guys. Hey, it's Scott with Heritage Farms, Texas. Well, here it is. It's Monday morning. I'm on holiday or vacation. Holiday is what the Canadians call it. But hey, we're at Telephone 2, the rental property that connects. And you can see I finally finished all of the shredding. Got things looking pretty good. Pretty excited. But what we're working on today is how to improve an existing barbed wire fence on the cheap. So what you got here is like these Bodark posts. Some of these from natural trees. You know, some of these are career-sewed posts that have been here forever. But what's amazing is most of these are pretty steady, and they've been in the ground probably 50 years. So you don't want to pull those out. Utilize what you got. So what I'm doing here is we're coming back in between, and I apologize for any of the shadows, and we're putting in cedar stays. So yesterday my son-in-law helped me. We went out and we spent about an hour and a half, and we cut 80 of these little cedar trees. And when you do that, you're accomplishing two things. Number one, you're improving your wooded areas because you're getting these invasive cedar trees while they're young, because if you don't, you see that one in the horizon, they just become massive and they can take over your property. So when you see them like this, cut them off at the ground. They won't grow back, which is the nice thing. But also, this thing gives a lot of stability. They call these stays, they're not in the ground. Their whole purpose is just to keep the wires separated so that if a cow sticks her head through there, she's not gonna go all the way. Luckily, my cattle are pretty gentle, which is a positive. So the fence is more of an optical illusion than anything. When your posts are this far apart, cattle can't see that wire if they're running or anything, and they'll just go right through it or push right on through it because it's weak. But when you come back and you put a cedar post in between every one of the existing ones, it really firms up an old fence. And you can do this on the cheap. So here you go. We put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Counting with Mr. Scott. Yes, I do have a high school education. So there is 12 of these posts that we put in. Really firmed up this old fence. And honestly, outside of a little bit of tying wire that we use to actually tie these connections, I just have about an hour and a half of work into this. And we've covered a pretty good little section there. I don't know what that is. Probably at least 50 yards, I would assume. But hey, there you go. But I also want to show you this hog superhighway. Look at this path they have cut in the ground, and look how low it is compared to everything else. These guys are just everywhere. So anyway, but that's what we're working on today, is cutting cedar stays. I'll also take you down there and show you the area that we got them. But man, they are such a great deterrent. They won't last forever, but you know what? They'll last a good 10 or 12 years probably, because they're really not in the ground, so they're not gonna rot off. And their sole purpose is to just support the fence in between the other post. And you know, some people will use the I call it threaded metal rods that go down there, the metal fence stays. Well, the problem with those is if your fence ever gets bent or anything, good luck getting one of those off. With these, you just cut your wires, you can readjust if a deer runs through it. But once again, it's to shore the fence up. And it's amazing, if your fence is loose and not very tight, what you'll see is when you go through here and put all of these fence stays in, it really tightens up the whole entire fence, makes it a lot better. Also, I want to show you, so right here we had a problem, and so this is where you put in one of these little metal sleeves. You use a tension rod, you actually come in there and you crimp it, you see 3 times, then you bend the ends over so that when you put the pressure on it, if the crimp does slip, at least the odds of the fence material pulling out are pretty slim because it's bent over onto itself. Anyway, hey, there you go. Heritage Farm fencing. And this is a way to improve a neglected fence without spending a tremendous amount of money on it. Because honestly, it's a rental property. We don't know how long we're gonna have it, so I can't afford to put new fencing around the place. But as a steward to the homeowner, I owe it to them to leave the property in better shape than the day I found it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're shredding, improving the pastures. We're gonna do some heavy rotational mob grazing. And then we're gonna come in here and improve the fences along the way. Hey, talk to you soon. Improving an old section of fence. Some of these posts are really solid. We're coming back adding some cedar stays where we need to. We put in a recycled T-post and we are shoring up this fence. Luckily my cattle are gentle, and for the most part, as long as there's a good optical illusion and there's some tension on it, the cattle won't mess with it. Thanks for watching, guys. Okay guys, here's the last section on the rental property and the cedar stay fence improvement. So once again, what we did was we came through here. This old fence was about to fall. There wasn't anything here to speak of. So what we did was we picked the wires up off the ground, came in, strategically added a T-post where we needed to, and then came in and put cedar stays along the way. Kind of see now we've got a fence that is we have 4 strands of barbed wire. It's not great, but hey, hopefully it'll at least keep the cattle out. You can get an idea of what cedar stays will do. Boy, this is a bad little thicket of, I don't know what you call that, hell. We got a couple of sections right here where the vines have actually pulled the barbed wire down, and the weight of the vines makes it almost impossible to get it back up. I may come back and string the wire across the top just as a visual deterrent. Really don't want to do that. But you can see it's not pretty. But sometimes the fence doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be a visual deterrent and at least a boundary so that when they come up, they can walk by and keep on trucking. Let me tell you what, if you're a cattleman and you're running cattle in remote locations and you have cedar trees on the fence, I used to think that was terrible. And I still do. If I had my way, I would not want a single tree anywhere on a fence. But the cedar trees in this situation actually help because the trunk and the limbs actually help hold the barbed wire and actually acts like another fence post for you. So you can see we came in, put a cedar post there, using our natural post, the cedar. We come in, we put an occasional recycled T-post just to give the fence a little strength. There's another one. Supplement it with some cedar stays. And you know, the fence is kind of coming together. Well, this is just one section, and it's taken me about 2 weekends working a couple hours every weekend, so I'll probably have 5 hours total into this north section of fence, and it's pretty good. Some of the other fences that connect to our property I'm not as concerned about because if the cows get out, they're just going to come over to our side. Look at there, I missed a T-post or a cedar post. What I've been doing is coming back and cutting them off 4 foot tall. Missed that one. So anyway, guys, hey, hopefully you like what you see. You get a general idea about fence repair using cedar fence stays. And once again, there's a wild man's future post. Hey, look at this. Not bad. Southern engineering at its greatest. Hey, if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up, leave us a comment. Please subscribe. Heritage Farms, Texas. Lovely January day. Peace out.